Hey traders, welcome back to the FX YouTube channel. Sorry I'm late today. If you saw my Asia video, you know that I didn't really sleep so much last night and that I wanted to get into shorts, but fortunately never got into an entry that I was comfortable with. But let's do a quick recap of what my idea was during Asia and what's happened since. So without further ado, let's get to the analysis. So starting with the fundamentals, I'm still expecting a lot of volatility today, mainly due to the things that we saw last night as well as some of the news that we have today. So first, the PCE index that I spoke about yesterday did have an impact on EU. From what I understand, inflation adjusted customer spending is down. So that had an effect on the US economy, which people are starting to feel that it's much more fragile than anticipated. If you look at the news from 15 minutes after London Open, we have PMI, and that continues for over an hour. Across multiple locations in Europe, and we have CPI for EU, which is 2 hours after London Open, and towards the end of the day during New York, 2 hours after New York Open, we have PMI. So I'm expecting a lot of volatility today. My idea kind of shifted a little from yesterday, especially what I've seen now since Asia. But anyways, let's go to the charts and have a deeper look. So if we start with DXY, so what happened last night, after the push up, we broke a lot of supply. So broke that, and swept this high. So after the reaction last night, I'm seeing this as a real sweep. Price came down roughly to the 50% of the last wave up. So you can see the 50% here. And then after that, what I was looking for Asia is for price to push up into supply, and then see if it would come back down and start the next wave to downside. Let's have a look at the 15-minute. So on the 15-minute, so we had this pullback down into the demand that I was expecting to be tapped yesterday. It never was, but got there last night. After that, we had a pull off the demand, breaking the last point of demand here, came back down for mitigation, and thereafter that it was not so long after Asia Open that it started to push away again. Here is Japan Open, so this is where I was looking for entries for shorts, but like I said, wasn't able to get to an area that I was comfortable entering at on EU, and then started to push away. And then what I do see now is we actually had a flip zone here. So we had a reaction after before it broke the lows, and then after breaking the low, you can see that a flip zone was created. So we just reacted off that. So my idea was we come into supply, and then after that start pushing down, and I was expecting this to happen later, but apparently it may not happen as planned, because like I said, did come to this particular flip zone. This supply held, it had an immediate reaction off of it, and now it's starting to continue down. So if we go to EU, we'll see similar things. It's more or less the opposite of what we saw in DXY. So this was the leg down we pulled back to the 50%. Then after that we had a reaction off of it. Let me go down to the 15 minutes. So we had that push up last night, came back up to the supply zone that I wanted to see hit during yesterday's London video. It never got there, but it got there last night. Had an immediate reaction off of that supply, broke the last point of demand, and then after that we had a bigger pullback back into supply. I was honestly considering entering right around here, because this is the time that the spread hour ended and the spreads came back to normal. But honestly, I hate entering before Japan Open, so I didn't enter. Let it play out. I was hoping that the price would come back up into this supply. Never made it. It barely missed it, but I didn't enter because I thought it was going to come higher. But unfortunately, instead of coming back up to the supply, it just melted right at Japan Open. So I missed this short, and after that you can see it's come down, and we can see the exact same thing as what we saw on DXY. So we had this area, which was the last point of supply of the push move, of the push down yesterday, creating this flip zone. So we had the initial reaction into supply, pushing down, creating this flip zone, and then after that continuing back up into the supply up here. So we reacted off this supply, and kind of looks like we're starting to reverse now. So instead of coming deeper into the demand, like I was hoping it would, and also the timing is considerably off from my original idea, it reacted off this zone. So what happens next? I'm not entirely sure, because I mean, you can see it started to push away from this demand a couple hours ago. Never got into the 4-hour supply. Potentially, I mean, we do have supply here that for now is holding. We could see a deeper push into supply from here, but at the same time we could also see a continuation to the upside as well. So to be completely honest, my idea is get into a trade early, take some profits, and get out of the trade before we start to have a lot of volatility in the markets. But like I said, I didn't get into the trade. It's not exactly playing out as I was I was thinking it would. I mean, the fact that we've already come back up so high, more reluctant to get into shorts again, to see if it'll come down, because like I said, my bias has shifted quite a bit. Originally I was expecting continuation to the downside and eventually attacking the lows, and maybe even break the monthly weekly low as well. But I mean, due to the nature of the reaction that we had yesterday after the PCE news, I'm tempted to think that this could start reversing now, and we can start to see that even now after the reaction of demand. So I am not sure whether I'll trade today. I'll keep my eyes open for the time being. But I'll probably just sit and watch. As some of you guys know from my video last week, Fridays really aren't the best day for me to trade. So rather than taking a lot of risks, I may just sit out and just see what the market provides, and potentially, I mean, just come back with a clear mind, and trade again next week. But we'll see. We'll see what the rest of Frankfurt gives us, and London. If I do see some setup that looks nice, I may enter. But anyways, I mean, that's more or less how I'm seeing it today. Don't really have anything else that comes to mind for the time being. Like I said, it could go either way. I still want to see the price come down a little lower into demand, but at the same time, after the reaction that we had from this flip zone, I wouldn't be surprised if it just continued up. At this point, actually, one of the more interesting plays could actually be to see if price comes back into this demand that was recently created, and use that as a potential area. Use that as a potential area to see if we get a reaction, if the price comes back into it, and then potentially longs from there. But anyways, as you can see, my bias has clearly shifted. It's quite a bit more bullish now than it is bearish, because I would be looking for longs now instead of shorts. But let's just see how Frankfurt and London play out, and I'll be back for New York, whether I'm trading or not, and we can do a follow-up then. Anyways, that's it for me. If you have any questions or comments, please leave a comment below, and if you found value in this video, please like and leave a comment. See you guys later. I'll talk to you for the New York analysis. Peace.